All right. Greetings, all. Thank you for returning to my channel. I'm Professor Nooney. Allow me to welcome you back to the Custom Boxer Bare Knuckle Tournament, the second edition. We're continuing on with Group A. We are starting the semifinals, and as you see in front of us, we have Quentin Rampage Jackson taking on Popeye the Sailor Man. Both these guys coming off of really big fights. I would go ahead and show you the tournament bracket right now, but as always, fair warning, if you have not watched the previous fights or you have not gotten caught up yet, I recommend that you do so if you don't really care much for the results of the previous 4 fights that we had, or you just want to pick it up from here, then allow me to bring you over to our tournament bracket where we are in the first battle of our semifinals match, and still in Group A. We are going to do Group A first, and then we're going to continue to we're going to start Group B. So right now we have Quentin Rampage Jackson coming off of a knockout over Gucci Mane, taking on Popeye the Sailor Man, coming off of a very close decision victory over Freddy Krueger. Had it not been for a knockdown that he got in round 8 against Krueger, more than likely Krueger would have won that fight. But as the wheels of fate had it, Popeye is the one who came out on top. So from here, we are going to continue to the fight, and I do believe that the fighters are coming out now, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, we are here now at Metro Manila Arena. I've been told the fighters are on their way out. Looking at the tail of the tape, we can see that Quentin Jackson has a much higher reach than Popeye. I wonder if he's going to try to use that to his advantage. And my mistake, the fighters were already in the ring. I am reporting a little bit late, folks. I do apologize. Coming from Memphis, USA, we can see how much the crowd really loves Quentin, completely drowning out any other noise to make out. Popeye coming from a garbage can, looking just the same as he did when he was taking on Freddy, just focused and wants to get through this fight to get to the next round. Crowd equally loving Quentin Jackson. Not entirely sure who they're going to favor the most throughout the progression of this fight. And I'm not entirely sure myself. I'm not entirely sure who's going to get this victory. Both of them have very unique styles, but this is the start of round 1. Both men charging into the center of the ring, as is tradition, it appears to be, with the current progress of this tournament. Every single fight, both fighters just go ahead, headstrong, charging right into the center of the ring. And this fight appears to be no different. So as we start things off, Quentin taking on somewhat of a conservative style. Was walking backwards, but catches Popeye with a pretty good left hand and an uppercut there. Although we do know that Popeye is a late bloomer. He does come, or rather yes indeed, a late bloomer.
Let it go!
He waits until perhaps the second half of the fight before he starts picking things up. Quentin, on the other hand, I do believe he's a front runner. Pretty good body shot by Popeye. Popeye somewhat against the ropes, but able to fight off. Jackson seems to be circling around with that Philly defense, trying to find an angle to come in on. Quentin with these uppercuts, really catching Popeye, although Popeye's pretty much, unfortunately, due to his genetic predisposition, does have a chin that sticks out there and creates a target for his opponents. Having difficulty getting those punches in due to the lack of reach. Gets caught with a really big left uppercut. Returns the favor with an overhand left and gets off of the ropes. Gets caught again, but still fighting and trying to keep Jackson back. Both these fighters keep getting caught with these big headshots. Finally, somewhat of a counter punch, and Quentin just missed with that huge, again with that left uppercut miss. That is the end of round 1.
Don't get too close. Don't get too close, all right? I need you to move more. Just keep moving. You hit him really good in that round. A couple of times. Really good.
Relax. Take a deep breath. I need you to focus.
We got it.
Anticipate his punches, okay?
All right. All we need is water up there, and that's it.
All right, start of round 2. Coming out immediately, Jackson gets caught with the right hand, or left hand, excuse me, onto the right temple. Popeye backing up, trying to compose himself a little bit. Pretty good right hand coming in. We heard from his trainer to just relax, find a good angle, if you will. He just needs to find the shots that will get in. Jackson being pretty conservative. He's the one that appears to be picking his shots. Popeye on the ropes, didn't see that right hook coming, didn't have a whole lot of effect, but he's catching Jackson, backing up. Popeye backing up to the corner, but weaves his way out. Couple of good shots there. I believe in training, Quinton had to, part of his contract, he had to conduct interviews, and I believe one of the things he mentioned was that he had difficulty sort of repressing the reflexes or instincts to start throwing elbows or pouncing on his opponent when he saw him was stumbling back and appeared to be stunned. He had to retrain himself to not immediately start going through for kicks or trying to tackle his opponent due to his MMA background. He says he feels comfortable enough to take on Popeye, as he didn't have that much difficulty with, if any at all, with this previous fight. He was able to stand his ground and conduct himself as a boxer. But he says this time around, he's not as focused at retraining himself or keeping himself from having his MMA reflexes kicking in. And he should be able to focus more on the fight. End of round 2, let's go to the corners.
You're not winning, and you're not losing, kid, but you're not winning. And we have to throw more than this guy. We can pull it ahead.
All right, start of round 3, as we heard from Jackson's trainer saying that he is not winning this fight, which is quite surprising. He has been putting in work, but I suppose Popeye has just been demonstrating to the judges the appearance of having more control of this fight. Although he is backed up on the ropes, Quinton backs up himself into the corner, quite surprising. Popeye trying to circle around him, looking for that angle. Gets caught with a good body shot there. Good mix-up by Popeye. As we spoke to Popeye prior to this fight, we were asking him, even though he won the last fight, it was quite close, is that lack of spinach in his diet being somewhat of a contributing factor to his performance? He said no. Early on, he was having difficulties going through withdrawal of that not being in his diet, but he says as he fought through the fight for Freddy Krueger, he needed that sort of warm-up in the tournament in order to know how his body will respond to certain things without that in his system. He says he feels that now taking on Jackson in the second fight, he has a much better understanding of what he can or can't do and what he ought to focus more on. And as a result, he feels that he will be performing better this time around than he did last fight. And if that may be the case, as he is winning this fight, according to Jackson's trainer, that is. 10 seconds left in round 3. Coming up on the end of round 3, and let's go to the corners.
All right. You are dominating this fight. Keep it up. Just keep doing what you're doing. There you go.
You're okay, don't worry. You're doing fine. I need you to move your head more, side to side.
All right, start of round 4. According to Teddy's scorecards, this is a close fight with only 2 rounds to 1, giving it to Jackson. He felt Jackson won that last round. Jackson's trainer telling him the same, that he is winning this fight, but we are far too early in it to tell who will be the victor. And we know with Popeye's history, he does have the potential to mount a comeback on the brink of destruction. Popeye's trainer telling him he needs to start moving his head a bit more. Oh, that's the reason right there. Gets caught with a huge left uppercut Thrown to the ropes, covers up, trying to avoid any more devastating shots. He appears to have regained himself. Keeps his guard up, backing up, trying to avoid Jackson at all costs. Appears to be right back in the mix of things as nothing happened, as though nothing happened, throwing arms out there. Pushing Jackson off of him, wanting space. Probably sick of backing up. He did get caught near the ropes. The crowd appears to be disapproving of the lack of a knockdown, feeling that Jackson had ample opportunity right there. Perhaps not giving the correct credence or respect to Popeye's defense.
Oh, you're doing great. Move!
Popeye looking for these angles coming in. Looking for these overhands, for these underhands. He just doesn't appear to have the reach. Jackson keeping him just out of it. So Popeye has to compensate with his lack of offense by a good defense, covering up at the right times when Jackson tries to come in. All right, a good left hand by Jackson there. Popeye still coming forward. Less than 10 seconds left in round 4. Let's go to the corners.
Pick up the speed, all right? Pick up the speed.
We got it. All right. All we need is water up.
This is yours. You hear me? This is your fight. Keep it up.
All right, start of round 5. Jackson coming in with that confidence from his trainer, telling him that this fight is his. He ought to be told as well, don't get too comfortable. You are fighting Popeye. We saw what happened in his last fight. Popeye going for a body shot there. It gets caught with an uppercut. Another uppercut. Popeye just not finding the right spacing here.
Finish with the...
He's able to narrowly miss with that uppercut, but doesn't follow up with much. Gets connected again. Popeye with that iron shin, though. It has to be, with as prominent as it is, knowing that that's what his opponents will aim at. I'm sure he did some kind of training where he was able to just increase its dexterity. As when it comes to headshots, he's quite resilient.
Hey, you got some of that too. Let's go.
It's just incredible that both of these fighters are still standing after the punishment they're taking. And we are only approaching the halfway mark of this
Side to side.
of
Move
this
your
fight.
head.
Oh, what a devastating left uppercut. Popeye either trying to play it off that it didn't affect him, or perhaps there really wasn't that much power behind it. Popeye clinches. It was anticipating another punch that he couldn't weave away from. Oh, an immediate knockdown, and that's the end of the fight. The referee says, no, I'm not even going to count. Popeye was motionless on the mat, tried to go for a left overhand and gets caught right on the left temple by a devastating right hand. Goes down to the mat immediately. Referee says no more. Quinton on the ropes, endearing himself to the crowd. Another knockout by Quinton Rampage Jackson. There will be, unfortunately, no comeback for Popeye. Quinton just happened to have his number. With that occurring, Popeye the Sailor Man has been knocked out of the tournament by Quinton Jackson. Unbelievable. It appears as though Quinton was able to work on himself well enough to not have to focus as much on repressing his MMA reflexes or instincts, to be able to focus entirely on the fight as though he was a born and bred boxer. What an incredible match. What an incredible knockdown. And with that, we have to give Quinton his golden, glorious, well-earned 4 points, as everyone should know at this point represents a knockout. And with that, Quinton Jackson moves on to the finals of Group A, where he will take on the winner of Chuck Norris and Shaquille O'Neal. Either one of these fighters will give us a tremendous fight against Quinton. I'm so looking forward to see what's going to happen in the next fight. And I'm so looking forward to see what's going to happen in the next group. We have not even touched on any of these fighters yet. What an incredible lineup. I cannot wait to see who's going to win this group and who will be the ultimate winner of this tournament. With that being said, I'd like to thank everybody that came out to watch this fight, and those who came to check out my video for watching my video. I appreciate all the views and notoriety I can get. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz, and as always, take care and God bless.